after that. We are expecting the National Assembly Speaker, Ramaphosa, also in just a few moments' time to give us an update on the state of readiness ahead of that address scheduled for this evening. But you mentioned it in your introduction to us. We are here in studio with Brett Heron. He's with the Good Party. Brett, it's great to see you. Thanks very much for making time for us. I feel like we say this every year, right, that this is a watershed State of the Nation address. Is it more so this year than ever before?
I think it is more so than ever before because the mood of the country is really somber. We've endured 4 or 5 months now of critical electricity shortages. And so the hope that the President was able to engender in his first Tumamina State of the Nation address seems to have, has disappeared.
Yeah.
And South Africans need a State of the Nation address tonight, or a vision from the President tonight that will uplift the mood, and he can do so by addressing some of the key challenges that we face, and in particular the energy crisis. So I think it is a watershed State of the Nation address, given where we are in our country so early in this year.
It's the issue that's uniting us as South Africans, right? The load-shedding crisis, especially because it feeds into so many of the parallel crises we're facing.
It is almost the root cause of many of our challenges, and we won't overcome many of those challenges unless we address energy supply. So we need a stable energy supply in order for our economy to grow so that we can create jobs. We need a stable energy supply so that people can live their lives without the disruption. And we need the energy supply so that we are an attractive investment destination. But South Africans deserve a stable energy supply, and it is possible to achieve if we can find one plan that the government can agree on and implement.
So from the perspective of the Good Party, what would Cyril Ramaphosa say this evening on the podium that would depart from previous SONAs? It's his 7th this evening. What would make that, what would hit the right note for you as the Good Party?
Well, he can't avoid but address the energy crisis, so we've discussed that. But I think that if we go beyond the energy crisis, which many people have spoken about and many people have opinions about and views on how to solve it.
We've all been talking about it.
We've been talking about it.
16 years.
We have the executive talking about it. We have experts talking about it. We have non-experts talking about it. So let's just leave that aside and say the other big crisis in South Africa is unemployment and poverty. And we cannot have 10 million people who are of work age, between the age of 18 and 60, who are unable to find jobs because our economy is not generating jobs, who are expected to live every single day without access to any income. And so it is time for this government to stop debating and researching the basic income grant and to implement a comprehensive social security system which includes a basic income to South Africans who are unable to find jobs because the economy is not generating jobs. And that doesn't mean we give up on the objective of achieving an economy that generates jobs. But as we understand it, even if we were to reduce the unemployment rate over the next 15 years, there will still be 10 million people unemployed. And so we need a social security system overhaul that includes a basic income grant. And we need to hear from the President tonight that that's what's on the cards and not another extension of the COVID 350 Rand per month grant.
That figure that you've just mentioned, it's very similar to the figure of young people. And the majority of the unemployed people in our country are young people under the age of 35. The majority of the people in our country are young people who are also going to the polls in 2024. A lot hangs on what the President has to say for the ANC itself.
It absolutely does, and if you are on the ground campaigning like we are often doing, people are completely turned off by politics, by politicians, by promises that have never been materialized. So it is critical for the ANC. It's critical for our country, actually, that we address the key challenges like youth unemployment. And last year, the President actually gave the perfect example of what something like a basic income grant can do. When he spoke of the man in Soweto who took the 350 Rand per month and turned it into an ice cream business. And the World Bank has already told us that if we were to achieve the same level of entrepreneurship as our peer countries like Turkey and Mexico and Brazil, we will halve our unemployment rate.
Wow.
So we really need to look at the basic income grant as more than just a grant, but an investment in people and giving them the opportunity to form businesses like the Soweto ice cream shop.
Well, civil society organizations have argued for that for a long time, Brett, and it doesn't seem that the political will is there. If I think about the conversations we've had on Channel 405 with various organizations, I have very little hope that the President will do that this evening.
I mean, that's where the government and the President needs to come together, and there needs to be a common vision around the kind of country that we're going to deliver to the South African people, and the most basic needs of people need to be met first.
Yeah.
The most basic needs is to be able to put food and water on your table, and if you can't do that because you have zero income, then how do you live as a human being? So yes, government has talked about it a lot, they've researched it a lot, there's a lot of organizations who've done research. It is achievable. We've done our own research, it's achievable, and it's now a question of implementing them, not as a gift, but as a right. It's a Section 27 right in terms of our Constitution.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking about the Ramaphosa. You called it the Tumamina moment that encapsulated the President's first State of the Nation address. He's now turned into the President of promises. Some people call him the President of consultations. Do you get the sense in his decision clearly to not announce his cabinet reshuffle ahead of the SONA, to rather focus, he says, on the State of the Nation address as another sign of that indecision?
It's difficult to answer that question. I mean, I've sat thinking about, would I announce a change in the composition of my executive before State of the Nation address, or do I give the direction and then appoint new members to my cabinet? It's the President's prerogative, and I can see that there is an argument to be made for giving the vision and then appointing the people to implement it.
Right. Brett Heron, let me thank you for your time this morning. Thank you for joining us. Brett is with the Good Party as we continue to bring you analysis from the opposition benches from our political analyst here in studio, Solution